my name is Carla Whitehead. I am a mental wellness counselor here at Student Counseling Services on the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi. Here we provide services for students, which includes counseling and also referrals for some of our other programs here on campus that might be helpful for students. And so we work as a liaison to help connect students with services here. I have been here at USM at Student Counseling Services since September of 2021, and I am enjoying my time here. Seasonal depression, also known as seasonal affective disorder, is a disorder that's characterized by depressive episodes that have a seasonal pattern. And with that, these depression symptoms are occurring during times of the year where the seasons is changing, and more so where the light in the day is shorter. So when we go into the winter season and we notice that the days are shorter and there's less sunlight, and people who typically are going to be diagnosed with this disorder will typically find that these symptoms begin during this time frame. Some of the symptoms include having a depressed mood, having times where you're more irritable, also too noticing changes in your eating or sleeping patterns, and then also too being able to notice a difference in your diet. So maybe craving different type of foods like starchy foods, or some of those snacks that we really like during times where we're feeling a little bit more down and we need some more comfort. So you may notice symptoms like that during these certain times of the year. It's less common. Seasonal affective disorder can also occur during the spring or summer months as well. Again, it's characterized by that seasonal change. Seasonal affective disorder is a little bit different than the other types of depression that we tend to see, but it actually is a form of major depression or major depressive disorder, which is a more clinical diagnosis of depression, and it's more chronic or more long-term. And so seasonal affective disorder is different. You tend to only notice it around the same time of year. So it has a pattern and it's pretty predictable usually. And so you will start to notice these changes closer to seasons changing, and you will be able to see how you can take some steps to be able to help with those symptoms. Seasonal affective disorder affects about 6% of the population. And so with that, it's relevant to know that women are more affected by this disorder than men. And then also too, with the college population, college freshmen tend to be, especially with a history of having some of these seasonal changes affect them with symptoms of depression, we'll tend to see this maybe pop up more for them, as again, looking at not only the seasonal changes, but as a college freshman, you notice just a whole big life change. And so you have these transitions that these students are looking to be able to, and students just like you, that are being able to look how to cope with these symptoms. And so I think it's also important to know that as this student population, being able to see any of these symptoms occur, seek out counseling, or maybe seek out some consultation at the Moffitt Health Center here on campus. Even the behavioral health clinic here. We also have a clinic for marriage and family therapy. These entities also too can help be able to point you in the right direction when you're looking to diagnose or cope with symptoms of seasonal depression. Younger people tend to be affected around the ages of 18 with seasonal depression. And so with that, you can see the correlation with college freshmen fall into that range, but also too moving into the earlier years of adulthood would also be relevant with that. However, there's not a lot of research for college students in particular against the general population, but it would be, again, that 6% of the population of men and women being affected. And so how and where college students fall in that scale would make up that percentage. Some strategies that would be helpful to mitigate the effects of seasonal depression would include, of course, following up and looking at the symptoms that are present and seeing which entities would be helpful to follow up with. So that would and can include psychotherapy, which is also counseling. Also too, medication management may be an option for you, in which again you can look into healthcare providers that could also offer that service, as well as psychiatrist. But also too, there are some coping strategies that you can employ on your own in addition to these services, and that would include getting as much natural light as possible, which would be, spending time out in the sun or having, time where you're near a window that gets a lot of good sunlight. Also too, would include light therapy, which is actually more of a formal way to get light through a lamp that is made for treating the symptoms of seasonal depression. And with that, you have this lamp in your office or your home, especially if you live in climates where there's not a lot of sunlight coming in, which affects more of our northern neighbors in the United States, but also too, for those who experience that, that's an option. And then also being able to look at your diet, how you can balance your diet out with the foods you eat, and also to your sleep hygiene. So being able to go to sleep and try to wake up around a set time, because also too, the melatonin in our body can be disrupted with seasonal depression. And so with that, it would be important to look to try to keep your sleep hygiene as best as you can. So I would like to also include that with seasonal depression, it's important to also note that you do experience symptoms of depression, but it's also important to be on the lookout for any signs for thoughts of suicide or any thoughts of death, where you may just feel like you don't want to be here anymore, and look at how you can take some steps to mitigate that risk as well. But that will also include, having some good close family support, friends, of course, reaching out to counseling services, again, like the ones we have here on campus, reaching out to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, which is available 24 hours a day. Also, Student Counseling Services here on campus has walk-in hours from 8 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, as well as an after-hour crisis line that you can utilize for any safety concerns, and that number is listed on our website. That number is 601-606-HELP. Again, Student Counseling Services is a free service for students, so you can utilize walking in to talk about any emergent needs or mental distress that you can't quite handle by yourself. And so you can feel free to come in and you don't have to make an appointment.